you do.
What?
What? Did he die?
I think he died.
Hmm.
We'll wait.
Oh wait, that's all good. I can't see you, by the way.
I know my camera's. I don't know what's going on with my camera.
That's right.
Okay, are you there?
Here, there we go.
Oh, there he is.
He's back.
As soon as you went live, it was like, no. So you put this out for people to watch, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
sort of. Sort of.
Yeah. On the podcast page, we'll have the actual this podcast live hangout recording is there, or they can download the edited audio track.
Yeah.
Who's Nintendo Legend? Is that you?
No, that's our regular third, Eric Bailey, but he's on sabbatical because he just had a kid.
Oh, nice! Congratulations, boy or girl?
Girl.
Yeah, it was a girl. Yeah.
Nice.
Why did my keyboard just stop working?
This is going great so far.
You don't need keyboards.
Jesus.
Overrated. It's all gesture control
It's
now.
all through the mind.
Yeah.
It is. All right. Well, I'm ready whenever you guys are.
All right, cool. I just tweeted the link.
Did you mention me in it? Because
I did.
RT it.
Ooh.
All right. Let me do that.
I'm gonna do
Getting dirty.
For all the people, I love this age that we live in, where it's really just about hanging out on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what we've all been.
people
waiting for.
stopped caring about a year ago. It used to be production values.
Yep.
And now people just yeah, just whatever.
Whatever. It's like, hey, what's up, guys? We're on the internet. All right. I guess we'll begin.
Cool.
All right.
I'm trying to find this tweet to retweet. Oh, there it is.
Sorry.
There's one of them. I don't see a link in it, but
It should be there.
Yeah, it's a plus.google.com.
Gold.
okay.
Cool.
All right. Cool.
All right. Here we go.
Here we go.
So you guys, all right. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready, and we'll go for it.
All right. Welcome to One More Podcastle, episode 121. My name is Jason Lamb, and this is part of the VG Evo podcast network. I'm your resident Canadian because Eric Bailey couldn't be here, but don't fear, my reign of madness is almost over, and he'll actually be back next week.
Ouch. It will be, yes. My name is Eric Hunter. I am the audio engineer and co-community manager, and I've got the funniest taste in my mouth. It's just I don't know what it is.
Nice. Hey everyone, I'm Daniel Kaiser, known as on-air host for Game Trailers TV, GameTrailers.com, on Spike over the last several years, but I am now actually the editor-in-chief of Retro Video Game Magazine as well, which I look forward to talking with Jason and Eric about on this here very show, live on your Google.
Nice.
All over your Googles.
Do people say that? On your do people take personal possession of their Google?
I was there. I saw it happen.
So that happened.
It was a messy ordeal. The war was endless. My gosh. It was epic.
Awesome.
Nice. So yeah, tell us about a little bit about the Retro Magazine.
Because I have so many questions.
Awesome. Yeah. So like I was saying there in my brief little, really crappy intro, I've spent the vast majority of my career working with Game Trailers TV with Jeff Keighley, and then GTV on Spike, and of course GameTrailers.com and whatnot. So, but prior to doing that, I was actually a print production manager. I worked in print, and I love the print medium, and obviously that didn't really jive very well with the current state of gaming because gaming was getting away from print and all going online, and here we are coming full circle with some different stuff. While I was at Game Trailers, I always loved to innovate and try to start different things. Some people watching this might know Epic Battle X, which was a big brand that I did start and get going to talk about gaming discussion, have gaming community, and that was a really great passion project for a long time. Kind of out of the ashes of that, because that's not running anymore. That's kind of just there with all the archive podcasts. I was looking for my next project after leaving Game Trailers last June. A lot of people might remember that Game Trailers was acquired by Defy Media during E3, which of the entire calendar year. That's probably not the best time, but it happened
Not.
during E3. And as I was live on air in front of millions of people, they're like, "You don't have a job," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So anyway,
High fives everywhere. High fives.
yeah,
Thanks.
no, it was cool. It was all good. Everything was cool, and I wish nothing but the best for everybody that's still at GT. But a lot of us moved on to do different things, and over the course of time, I came in touch with the guys at Retro. Now, Retro is a video game magazine. That's the product. That's the main thing that there is. But really, it's a brand that's all about being a retro-minded gamer. And they had been successfully funded on Kickstarter twice, actually. The first one funding the entire magazine, and the second one adding additional pages to year 2. Which is beginning right now. So anyway, I came on board and am now editor-in-chief, and I've infused a new vision into kind of what Retro Video Game Magazine is all about, which is to celebrate gaming's past, present, and future. There's a lot of crap, a lot of trash talk going on in the industry, but this is a wonderful medium where everyone kind of is invited to collaborate through what we're doing. We actually, have a printed product, Retro Video Game Magazine, which is a 76-page publication that has writers from all over the industry, everyone like Luke McKinney, Jeremy Parrish, Andy Eddy. We've got Chris Kohler, Sean Baby's in there, tons of people collaborating on this project because it's an effort to celebrate gaming's past, present, and future, as I mentioned. And the big thing that I'm doing is kind of working with publishers now to help us look at what's coming out, because the reality of the situation is you hear retro and people think, Pac-Man and Space Invaders. And that's great, and we want to do that, and we will do that, but our industry is very future-focused. So my goal is to help us look at what's coming out that people are all excited about and help celebrate that franchise and look at the big picture. So as an example, issue number 7, we're coming out right ahead of the release of Mortal Kombat X, and we're celebrating the Mortal Kombat franchise. I've got an interview with Ed Boon in there. We've got some exclusive screen, exclusive art. We're going to look back at the history, the evolution of the franchise, but we're also celebrating the entire fighting game genre. So looking at Street Fighter, looking at the history of Virtua Fighter, Soul Calibur, even way back games. Have some exclusive, great information in there. And I really just want the magazine to feel like a celebration of things, but also informative, educational, informative, and entertaining all at the same time, so that when you are going to pick up your copy of Mortal Kombat, you're like, I want to celebrate the franchise and also learn something about the history of the genre and specifically Mortal Kombat. So that's the goal of each publication. We're going to announce each issue as they come out. We're a bi-monthly publication, so only 6 magazines per year. But I'm very much looking forward to discussing our sequence of announcements and what we got. We got some really big stuff planned for 2015, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Nice. No, that's...
Or not so much a nutshell. I talked for a while, so it was like a coconut shell.
No, that was great.
Big nutshell. Big nutshell.
So now that you've been in publication for 2 years, you've had 2 successful Kickstarters. Where do you kind of see the magazine going in the future? Like, I know right now you guys have expanded. You've got a classic gaming forum. You've got a modern gaming forum. I know you're part of the Game Gavel network.
Correct. Yeah.
So you actually have the Game Gavel kind of, I guess, options. Yeah. Integration in there. So how do you see yourselves in a year from now, almost?
So we are in our 2nd year, but technically we're really just getting started. The first year was more or less kind of like fulfilling the idea of what is possible with a print publication in this day and age. And the reality of the situation is, we all know that print has kind of gone by the wayside. Now, Game Informer is an amazing magazine. I know Andy very well, and the whole team over there have nothing but respect for what they're doing. But what they're doing is different than what we're doing. When Mortal Kombat X is announced, that's Game Informer. When Mortal Kombat X is coming out and you want to learn about the history of the franchise or the history of the genre, that's us. And that's what we do that's different. But also, they've got 4 million subscribers or whatever, so we've got a lot of room to grow because we're just babies starting out and getting this thing, out of the gate with an idea and actually turning that vision into a reality. So to answer your question, we've published 5 magazines. The 6th one is coming out right now. The 7th one, which is the start of year 2, is the one that I'm at the helm of as editor-in-chief. And so our goal right now is to get the word out, to let people know what we're doing, and to invite people to, join in on the issues and the conversation. Because it's not just a magazine coming out. We're actually going to be hosting on the website and through social channels, vast discussion about genres. We're going to have interactive polls and engagement, for finding out what people's favorite Mortal Kombat character is or their favorite fighting game, and just really taking these opportunities to celebrate the genre through these franchises that we're honoring in each and every edition. So we want to build up our subscriber base. We want to get out there, and we want to have fun with this thing. That's what gaming is all about, right?
Yes. No, definitely. And if someone were wanting to subscribe, what would be the best way to do it? Go through the website? Go through like a third-party channel?
Yeah, no, website. readretro.com is the website. Read Retro, and then just /subscribe is where you could subscribe.
Perfect.
There's obviously call-outs on the website, but yeah, if you're interested in doing it, it's like $33, and it gets you the full year in both print and digital.
Nice.
If you just want digital and you don't want the print, it's like $18. So yeah, I mean, it's an actual thing to buy, and this day and age, you can also find it in Barnes & Noble beginning with issue 7, and we're in about 100 or so mom and pop retailers throughout the country, and then we have throughout U.S. and Canada. Sorry, got to give Canada a shout out. And then we have we have subscriptions in about 35 different countries as well. So
Nice. That's awesome. I'm really impressed.
Well, yeah, because I was gonna play devil's advocate because I'm sure everybody has. I mean, being in this day and age, trying to bring out a print media forum. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I grew up, I was an avid Nintendo Power. Then I moved to GamePro. Then I had EGM. Then EGM2 because they thought releasing a magazine every 2 weeks about video games was a better idea than every month. And then Gamer, GMR, if anybody remembers the old days of EB Games. And then Game Informer, like I'm all about print media. I've got an entire library of magazines behind me. But this day and age, I mean, don't get me wrong, what you guys have accomplished already, you have definitely positioned yourself to be that for the people, by the people, especially with both Kickstarters, which I'm happy that I was part of. But so yeah, I know it's a little biased, but I'm just curious, like, what is the end game? Because this is such a niche market, especially with it being retro gaming, which obviously is becoming more and more popular as we move on. Thank God for everybody, right? Because that's where the fun is. But I mean, with it being a print magazine, on top of it being retro gaming, on top of it being everything else, like, what do you see the future of retro magazine being?
absolutely, and that's a very valid and well-worded question. The reality of the situation is, what I've tried to do is come on board and say retro isn't just a magazine, it's a mindset. Retro is for people who remember the days of when you brought home your cartridge, you paid $50 for it, you brought it home, you popped it in, you pressed power, and the damn thing worked, and it was great, and you celebrated that. And more than being just a mindset, it's also a movement. We want to rally people around the culture of gaming. And, as much as information has become accessible, it almost becomes less special. And what I want to do with Retro Video Game Magazine is make something special, because when you were subscribing to all those magazines, Eric, I guarantee you that there's anticipation for them. You were waiting for them. You were anxiously waiting for them to show up in your mailbox or waiting for them to hit newsstands. I know I always waited for magazines like Nintendo Power growing up, and I was particularly fond of PSM back in the day and loved when that showed up in my mailbox. And, the access to information that we have at our fingertips is fantastic, but there is something to be said for having something special. It takes effort and time to create a product like this that is crafted, with a lot of love and attention to detail, and it's something that you keep on your coffee table. I mean, the reality of the situation is we're not trying to tie ourselves. I mean, there aren't even dates on our magazines because we want them to be evergreen. I mean, the content coming out in the fighting game issue will be 99% of it will be as relevant a year from the day it comes out as it is from the day it comes out. And that's because we want to create a scenario to where, each edition is basically a collector's edition unto itself. And that kind of feeling of having something special in a product that is tangible, that you hold, is something that I think there's a lot of people who long for that. Once again, or discovering for a first time if they're younger and they don't quite get it. I think they can maybe appreciate it in a different way than old guys like me can. But yeah, I mean that's the point, is to rally the industry around things, celebrate them, and have people have them as keepsakes.
Wow.
Nice.
No, that's good. That's I mean, it's amazing what you guys are doing. Not just from the perspective that I am, which is a retro gamer, and being from that generation that enjoyed that monthly magazine in the mailbox, and oh my God, what am I going to get the previews for all the new games coming out from E3? But I mean, even coming pushing forward and trying to bring in like new people into the mix of things, because I mean that's one of the beautiful things about retro gaming is that someday, regardless of how long it takes, every game is a retro game.
Absolutely.
And
Totally.
that's
And educating people, right? I mean, there's a lot. I have kids, and I've really taken it upon myself to try to, don't just dive into this game. Let's look at the history of how this game evolved. And again, in retro, we don't just focus on past content. We're looking at the future, but from a retro mindset. And that's one of the big things that I think has the ability to, if we were just retro focused and we're just covering the old arcades, but but it's also very, very niche. This is something that I feel I want people who never played, the original Mortal Kombat or, of the original Zeldas, when they pick up our magazine, I want them to learn something. And people who are looking forward to the new game but already went back, I want them to feel nostalgic for what they've experienced, but also get information. I mean, it's my goal as editor-in-chief to get exclusive reveals for all the games that we have in there, whether it's a character or some bit of information. So we want to have that in there in terms of what's coming up, but the vast majority of it is about putting everything in context, and nobody's doing this. So we have the opportunity to do it, and I'm really excited about being able to deliver it, and just tap into everyone that I've been very fortunate to meet over the years, and get them into the magazine. I have you guys in there too, talking about your favorite games of all time, and
that's awesome.
what you're looking forward to with your favorite stuff. I mean, retro is a celebration of gaming. That's what I want to do. Bring everybody together to do just.
You don't want Jason there. That's fine. Trust me.
He's gentle as a lamb.
He's
Ooh,
ouch.
we found a replacement for Bailey.
That's. Oh man, no, Daniel. It's amazing the work you guys are doing. I couldn't even imagine taking that as and taking that over. Like it's just, you're a man after my own heart. That's all I'll say.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, this
You're not a Bengals fan. Are you a Bengals fan living up there?
Oh, you better believe I'm a Bengals fan.
All right, that's okay.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll move on. We'll talk about it.
Hooday.
Hooday for show. Only in the nasty natty.
Yeah, so if anyone want to check it out, go to readretro.com, and what's your Twitter handle?
@ReadRetro.
@ReadRetro.
And my personal Twitter's @DanielKaiser, which looks like Kaiser, but sounds like Kaiser. It's Kayser. So yeah, but either way, you can talk about Kaiser rolls if you want, or the fact that Kaiser means king. King of what? I don't know, but
King of Retro Magazine.
There you go.
He's gonna change his profile title now. That's what it's gonna be.
That's happening.
It's gonna be a little Photoshop crown in there.
Oh, nice.
Nice. All right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Moving on. I'm gonna ask, what old video games have you guys been playing this week or lately?
Eric, you want to jump in?
Oh, do I? I mean, that's awkward. It's so.
That's awkward.
Yeah, it's one of those days or weeks rather where I've been playing a retro-esque game.
Well,
Well,
inspired.
No, I'm good with it.
I'll say this. So I have obviously, if you listen to the last episode, I'm still playing through Link's Awakening, and I'm still kind of super enthralled and completely overtaken by the awesomeness that is Link's Awakening. So I can't really discuss that at this moment, just because it's. But one of the games that I've been playing, which is kind of taken me by storm, is Crossy Road. Have you guys played this Crossy Road?
No.
It's a mobile game. It's a very isometric, very blocky, 8-bit-ish, kind of reminds me of like a pseudo Minecraft, lots of dark outlines on things. But the funny thing is it's Frogger.
Okay.
Nice.
Like, that's all it is. It's Frogger. But
What
the
do you
interesting
play as?
see,
Instead of
so
Pro?
that is where the genius of these developers and just mobile gaming in general, because nowadays it's like, if you're playing a mobile game, either on your phone or your tablet, it's a free-to-play game, so they have to figure out ways how to get money from you, so it's free to download. But how am I going to get
Monetize
at
that
your
shit.
pocketbook?
Yeah.
So the characters that you play as essentially are what you pay for, and there's over like 100 characters to play as.
How much do you have to pay for each character?
So it varies. It can be anywhere from 99 cents up to $2.99. Some of the characters are free to unlock as you play. If there's a time limit, if you play for X amount of time, then the character is just automatically unlocked, but it's all random. And as the updates have come along, they've added more characters to unlock. This last update was for Australian animals, which apparently they have an entirely different ecosystem than the rest of the world. So
Yeah.
they got their own update. Well, kangaroos, yeah, I guess there aren't really kangaroos. I just thought of that. Now I feel like an idiot. But the funny thing is it kind of goes back to what you were saying just about bringing new people into the retro gaming and the history of everything, because legitimately that's all this game is. It's just Frogger. That's all it is. Like it's an endless Frogger. There is nothing new to the game essentially. There's no new mechanics. There's no anything that's like flashy or mind-boggling or anything like that. It's literally just tap the button to move your character forward. You got squashed. Start
Nice.
over.
Cool. I'm
And
installing it
you
right
can
now.
move laterally. I mean, you can move laterally.
Yeah.
Not
So
just-
and that's where the in my opinion anyway, the failure of mobiles come into play is the controls, because if you want to move laterally, you actually have to swipe left or right. Whereas in moving forward, it's just a tap on the screen. So it's like it feels encumbersome to do that. And you try to, or at least me anyway, like I just try to just like gun it. So like I'll wait, and then I'll just start slamming the screen like, no, I can make it, I can make it, I can make it, I can make it.
Remind me not to ever get in a car with you.
No, yeah, I mean, Cincinnati, man, we've got some of the highest death rates in the nation. So, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well, I don't mean to laugh at that. That's not funny, but
no.
please.
Or is it hilarious?
I don't know. Crossy Road. Is it called Crossy Road?
Crossy Road. So it's available for iPhone and Android.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's just one of those games where maybe because I'm not a big mobile fan at all. Not even the smallest bit. But the fact that it's essentially Frogger, like I have no problem telling people that I'm playing Crossy Road. I don't know. Is that weird? Like,
No, it's not weird.
I don't know.
No. Whatever makes you hoppy.
It does. Trust me.
Sorry, I'm known for my puns. I got to bring them out.
I like it. I
Wow.
like it.
Yeah. So we've definitely found a replacement for Bailey.
Definitely found a replacement. Bailey.
Bailey, I'm sorry. I hope you're listening right now.
Sorry.
Sorry, Bailey.
It's been
It's
nice.
been a great journey.
I'll
But
send you some Irish cream. All right, that's the last one.
we have
The
to.
last one.
So yeah, Crossy Road.
Crossy Road. All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Set it to download on my phone. I'm going to check it out tomorrow. What have you been playing, Daniel?
I've actually been in catch-up mode because, taking on this role, I've been doing a lot of stuff. But, prior to the holidays, I was retro-wise. I have this. What I try to do with my boys is walk them through the history of different games. So go through and play all the old school Zelda games, the Mario games, and kind of slowly graduate to different things. Not literally doing it in chronological order, but doing that. So one of the great games that I'm trying to get the time and actually go and introduce them to is Wind Waker on the Wii U, the remake. But so that's at the top of my list. In terms of actual games I've been playing, they've been modern. I've been speaking a lot about Lords of the Fallen, one of my favorite games of last year. I just enjoyed it. It was fun. It was, it's like under what is the phrase, under promise, over deliver. That's what I felt like with that game, so I mean, I wasn't expecting a whole hell of a lot, but it looked fun, and I started playing it, and I really liked it and enjoyed it. Dragon Age Origins, been playing that as well, and not loving it as much as I thought I would. Again, that
Well, you
was
didn't
kind of
get your 80 hours in yet?
No, I'm about 30 something in, and it's good, but I was a huge Mass Effect fan, and I'm really liking it, but I'm waiting. I feel like I'm waiting for something else to happen. So anyway, there's that. But there's so many great games coming out. One of the things with modern games though too is they're a very big time investment. So retro games you could kind of pick up and play, and and just go through them, and not I mean, I've got a sweet spot for games, and I do think a lot of modern games are artificially extended in terms of their length, just because the developers and publishers feel they need to check off something on the back of the box to say it's XYZ amount of time
Right.
that you'll have for your investment. But yeah, I mean, retro-wise, I really enjoy a lot of the old school games, and particularly playing them with my kids, because I feel like I get to relive them, see them through different things. So Wind Waker is the big one that I want to get going with them, especially with a new Zelda on the horizon. They've already played through Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess, and we've played through A Link Between Worlds and a bunch of other stuff. So that's about it. But I'm going to DICE next week in Vegas, and my plan is to finally play Shovel Knight on the plane there, and back and forth, and really dive into it, because I've heard nothing but great things about that. Speaking of retro-inspired games, so looking forward to seeing what the Yacht Club games guys have cooked up, and check it out.
Nice. Well, those all sound better than my game. I've been.
What is your game?
I've talked about it on the podcast before. The Internet Archive put up roughly 2,500 DOS games.
Oh, not this again.
Nice.
Yeah, this again. So every once in a while, I just like to throw up the browser. I'm like, let's see some old game that I've never heard of. Let's fire it up. But I'm a huge sucker for Star Wars.
Okay.
Love Star Wars. So I'm like, oh sweet, old Star Wars game, 1989. Let's give it a shot. It's released in arcade and stuff. It plays from the first person perspective of an X-wing. So you just see the nose of your X-wing, and you see the 4 cannons. And it's basically a stationary shooter. So you're just having build really bad graphic TIE fighters fly by, and you kind of just have to move and shoot. Problem is with DOSBox online, it's very hard, or if not impossible, to customize the controls. I figured it out. Unlike the normal loading up DOSBox on your desktop, when it's in browser, it's embedded. So the controls for this were Q and A controlled up and down, but then you had to go to the other side of the keyboard, and O and P were left and right.
That's silly.
And then your thumb would be hitting the spacebar to fire.
Okay. Makes no sense.
Makes no sense whatsoever. And just to wrap my brain around it for the brief period of time I played it, you're like, okay, this hand's doing what? This hand's...
So it was like you were playing QWOP.
Yeah, exactly. It was like it was QWOP, the Star Wars game.
Which was no Yoda's Quest, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's no Yoda's Desktop Adventures.
No, it's not.
So
Are you enjoying it despite the control? It sounds like the interface is the main thing that is kind of...
It's nothing complicated. Like, I got to buy some TIE fighters and kind of flew into the Death Star and stuff, but it's interesting. It's from a historical perspective, I'd say check it out, but I'd probably recommend grabbing like the file from a DOS archive website and downloading an actual copy of DOSBox first. Otherwise, it's just going to be a nightmare.
Right. Well, lots of good Star Wars games to pick from. Maybe that's not your favorite, but
No, definitely not. So I'm just going to pick up all those cool game ones they came out with recently.
There you go.
Yeah, but speaking of good old games,
Yes.
it's time for a musical break.
Okay. Or a God promo. Go for that.
You've also got, I think this is what you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, you went Matrix on us.
Yeah, you've got Matrix on us.
Well, what a good time for it.
Yeah.
I've been there.
How long break do you take?
All right.
All right, so if Hunter wants to go take a smoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
What am I going to go do?
Cool.
Break for 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
1 minute. 1 minute. 2
Yeah.
minutes.
2 minutes, 3 minutes.
I.
Cool. See you in a sec.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
You're good. No Matrix.
It's so fun being in the Matrix, though.
Oh.
What do you think of my little wall back here? I got me
I
and
like
Cliff
it.
hanging out. All right. Me and Cliff.
Nice.
And I actually have my original Final Fantasy Tactics box art thing
That's
here.
awesome.
Yeah, so if you want to make anything look like a cool room, just rip up a bunch of stuff and then put it on a poster board.
Nice. Looks good.
Yeah. Hey, thanks. This is what it's. I'm not really fond of the term slave labor, but my kids need something to do on the
Yeah.
weekend.
So you're like, kids, arts and crafts.
Yeah, this is called arts and crafts time for Daddy. So,
Nice. Hey, may as well. Keeps them engaged.
That's right. So, are you or are you not a Rush fan? This is very important, by the way.
I know it's very important. Let's put it this way. I do like Rush. The problem is,
Mhm.
up in Canada, we have, it's called the CanCon law.
The what? CanCon?
CanCon. So
Okay.
by law, a certain percentage of every radio station, television station in Canada, a certain percentage has to be dedicated towards Canadian content.
As a law.
As a law. So by law, let's say, I think it's 20%. So 20% of the stuff you hear on the radio has to be Canadian content.
Okay.
That does include, I believe, like on-air personality, stuff like that. But it's basically put in place because we're tiny. Like we've only got 35 million people, and we've got all this American kind of culture being beamed in constantly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just
Get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, it's forcing us to kind of generate our own culture. But that said, the problem is you only end up hearing about 2 Rush songs on the radio over and over and over again. So
that would be Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
And on Free Will.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. Right. Those are pretty popular.
Yeah. But like, yeah, you're just hearing these same things over and over and over again. But
Well, that's silly, but I mean, the law doesn't dictate that it has to be the same piece of content.
no,
Just
it
by
does.
creating
It
it.
doesn't. So you could play anything you want. I could be like, cool, we're gonna play some deep cut from Rush's first album,
Yeah.
which would be great. But
Yeah.
again, it's just DJs being lazy. It's just like, no, we're gonna play the same two songs. It's like, oh,
So
we're
you
gonna
get
play.
sick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a valid and valiant, goal to pursue to kind of
Mhm.
reinforce, domestic culture and get people engaged with local artists. I think
Yeah.
that's great, but at the same time, you got to mix it up. I mean, it can't just be recycled stuff, and particularly with a band like Rush who has a 30-year history
Yeah.
of music. I mean, you could spend a year focusing on a particular album and
Oh, totally.
have content for 30 years. So.
But no, that's unfortunately the reality of it. But Rush is coming to my city actually. Next 2 months from now, I believe they're getting a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Nice.
Because
Very
Neil,
cool.
I think Neil Peart's from here.
Nice.
So yeah,
Very cool.
they're attending the Canadian version of the Grammys.
Nice. Okay.
So
Well, very good, man.
yeah, so that's my stance on Rush.
I'm a drummer, and before I started doing the video game stuff, I was in a band. I was in several different bands, and I learned to play drums by literally my parents couldn't afford a drum set, so I sat on my bed like drumming to Rush. Like that's how it nowhere would match what Neil did, but it was like, okay, I'm going to listen to this and like just start mimicking the movements, and it was in the, just the regular timing of doing stuff that actually, and when I was able to sit behind a drum kit, at my church that I was going to, I was like, nobody was there one day, and I was like, oh, drum kit. I sat down and I started playing it. I'm like, this actually works. Holy
That's
crap.
awesome.
So yeah, that's how I learned how to play drums. But
Nice.
But yeah.
That's awesome. I don't know, Hunter.
Yes.
Oh, you are there. I can't see you.
I
I
can't
know,
see
man.
you either.
So
I
I
can-
saw your microphone unmute, so wasn't actually sure you were there.
I mean, I can back out and back in. So.
Do you
That's
like
fair.
to go by Hunter or Eric, or I feel like I'm not in the know here?
We go in the call him Hunter because we also have it's Eric Hunter, but we also have Eric Bailey. So instead of having me
Hunter
go,
and
hey,
Bailey.
hey Eric, it's just we've just been referring to them as Hunter and Bailey.
And not only to find two guys with the same first name, but to find two guys who have a first names as both their first and last name.
Yeah.
Hunter and Bailey.
Hunter and Bailey. I didn't even think about that.
So you guys are on to something,
We are
or you're on something. One of the other.
probably both. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
right.
Before we jump back in, oh, I can see. No, I can't see him again. He wasn't there. With the retro showdown thing, just because I didn't really give you a breakdown. Basically, we'll just go in order. So I'll talk for a minute about my game. Hunter will talk for a minute about his game, and then you'll talk a minute for your game.
Sounds
And then
great.
after that, it's a free-for-all. I've got a stopwatch running on my computer. So once you get to like the 30-second mark and stuff, I'll be like, yeah, 30 seconds.
Okay, perfect.
So it's
and we're convincing people to play our game, correct?
yeah, and you're basically also at the same time being like, no, Jason, your game's terrible.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But I fear we've lost Hunter. Oh well.
Not representing Cincinnati properly.
What the hell? It's letting Cincinnati down. I'm gonna rat him out to his wife. So you're from? You said California?
I'm from New York,
From New York, but you're in
Denver,
Denver, right? Colorado.
Mile High City.
Nice. Did you ever go see the Avalanche play?
Oh yeah, I got tickets to go see Rangers Avalanche on February 12th.
Nice. I have to ask, how much are tickets there?
They're actually not that bad. I mean, you can go to like a guys' night out special, and it's
Yeah.
like $60 for 2 tickets, 2 beers, 2
Oh,
T-shirts.
killing me.
It's like $60 for 2 tickets. I mean, you're up high for those.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, it's just fun to go. You take the train, go down to the Coliseum, and just kind of at the Pepsi Center and just enjoy it. And I play ice hockey too. I actually play I play on Friday morning, so tomorrow morning I'll wake up at 4:30 in the morning to be able to go play hockey, and I play on the same ice where the Avalanche practice.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, so we're playing there at the Family Sports Center in South Denver, and basically we play, and then if the Avalanche are in town, they come on and practice afterwards. If not, then it's it's open, but it's like this is the ice that they practice on. It's like Patrick Waugh was on this ice
That's
just
awesome.
yesterday, and here I am totally goofing it up, but it's totally fun to play. I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, the pricing. That's good pricing. Like if you go, the closest I've got is, well, I shouldn't say. Yeah, probably Toronto. You can go see Toronto. That'll be the closest. It's about an hour north from where I am.
Hmm.
But cheapest you're looking at for a single ticket is, oh jeez, you're looking like minimum like $75 probably.
Really, for even the
Per seat.
nosebleeds.
Yeah, it's the highest in the league.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. Lowest is, and this is against the Rangers on a Tuesday. It's not expensive as a weekend. It's $50 for a single
$50.
ticket,
Okay.
and then a beer is going to cost you like $15.
You're like $100 in. I mean,
Yeah.
you're at least. I mean, by the time you have a couple of beers, especially the way
Oh,
Toronto
totally.
is,
Totally.
you just. But yeah, no, it's good. It's cheaper out here. That's one thing that's a plus. But they had a great season last year, but the Avs aren't playing that well this year.
No,
I'm
I
a
know.
Rangers fan first and foremost.
Oh, okay.
That's my team. Being from New York and whatnot. But I certainly love rooting for the Avalanche while I'm out here.
Nice, that's awesome. Great, you get to see your teams play at least.
Yeah.
One sec. I'm going to tweet Hunter because
Because that's what we do
are
in
you dead?
2015. If he was, though, he'd probably have a hard time answering.
You'd be surprised. Oh well. Alright. So what are you going to do at Dice next week?
I am going to do a bunch of interviews for Retro and kind of look at, there's some really great speakers there and presenters and just kind of catch up with everybody. Have you ever been to Dice?
No, I've never been to Dice.
It's it's one of my favorite things to go to just because it's the spirit there is very, it's about innovation, it's about, design and people are in the mode to kind of have those conversations. Whereas, at E3 it's great, but that's about like promoting a product.
Yeah.
GDC is really great because it is Game Developers Conference, but GDC is also like a big party in San Francisco that's great. But DICE is probably one of my favorites just because it is literally like everybody's got this mentality there about like discussing the future of the medium, and and some really great conversations come out of that, and the vibe is good. And I'm not a huge fan of being in Vegas, to be honest with you. I mean, I usually have like a 48-hour window on Vegas. I'm like, okay, I'm done. But no, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm surprised. Does it move around every year?
No, it's in Vegas. They have different, there's different, I think there might be another one. There's one in Europe.
Yeah, I'm confusing with the Europe one. I think there's one in like Sweden or something.
I would like to go back to Sweden.
Oh, you've been to Sweden?
Maybe. I have. I went to Malmo, Sweden, to visit with Massive to talk about the multiplayer in Far Cry.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was great. Yeah, those guys are awesome.
Nice.
So.
You seem very busy.
Yes. That's the answer.
But good busy, because even after like you mentioned you had kids, it's like okay, that's gotta take gotta be a lot of time, and then you're mentioning I'm getting up at 4:30 to go play hockey.
Yep.
Like you must be really busy. No, it's awesome though. You're doing what you love.
I am, and it's fun, and I mean the reality of the situation is I mean you got to fill your day with doing something, right? So I mean I get up early. I'm an early riser. I don't.
Okay.
I like to get up early and go running, and I usually I only get to play hockey one day a week, so the running is usually what I do. But aside from that, I mean, just the ironic thing about working in the video games industry, especially as games get longer and longer, is that you have less and less time to actually play games,
Yeah.
which is just, I mean, crazy. You know?
Yeah, I find a problem with a lot of games, like, because they are getting longer and longer and longer, that even getting back, like, with a lot of old games, you'd be like, oh, just going to pick it up, just going to get right back into it, not super complicated.
Right.
But a lot of these ones, they're, stretching 60, 70 hours. It's...
Oh,
You can't really get anywhere on those.
No,
I've got I've got 20 minutes to play. You can't get anywhere, so you don't feel like you're accomplishing anything.
there's like 4 AAA games you can play a year. I mean, at least some on my schedule. I mean, there's like 4 in a year that I can get down.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of like soup to nuts, especially like the huge ones. And I'm like an RPG fan. I'm not like an FPS fan.
Yeah.
You know, those are fun, but I'm just not like a huge guy and those are kind of interesting because it's like the single player tends to be pretty short, and then you just spend most of your time online, which is at your discretion and availability. But when you're trying to plow through a game like Dragon Age, and you're like, where am I? And like, I don't feel like I'm advancing. I don't know what's happening here. So
Yeah.
But,
Even some of the boss fights can take forever.
Yep.
They end up being multi-stage or...
I'm also very sensitive too about content, like with my kids being around.
Yeah.
I don't want them walking in the living room like during a sex scene in Mass Effect or
Right.
Dragon Age or something like that. I'm like, so I typically play those more mature games late at night once they go to bed.
Yeah.
So it's like, 1
Probably
o'clock
cut
in the
down the
morning,
time even more.
passing out, like trying to stay awake.
Nice. All right. Well, Hunter said he's on his way back. I have a feeling he had to reboot his computer.
Okay.
Let me just check here. Damn it, Hunter.
Damn Hunter.
What a bastard.
Is he gonna play Evolve considering his name is Hunter?
He better. He probably won't. He's not a... How would I describe him? Yeah, I don't think he's really a shooter guy at all.
It's more like a Frogger type of guy.
Yeah, more of a Frogger type of guy. He likes the platformers. The Froggers. So,
Just give me Frogger, man. I'll be fine.
He focuses a lot now on... started reviewing indie games.
Cool.
But he's like homebrew games, freeware, browser-based games, so he seems to be really getting into that. I think they've kind of got the kind of retro design, like they're simple, they're...
Yeah. No,
Kinda,
it's just retro focus. Have you seen, we have a big spread on Axiom Verge in the latest edition of Retro. That game looks badass. I don't know if you're a fan of like the Metroid style. I love these old school inspired games. I got to be honest. Like this to me, this is where it's at, because it's like you don't have to invest your life into it. I mean, like I said, look, top of my list right now for most anticipated, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I think it's going to be awesome. Super stoked for it. But that is like in a caliber of game, like I said, if I can get 4 of those in a year, I'm happy.
Because you're sinking 80 hours into it.
Yeah, exactly. The rest of the time, though, like I just want to boot up something fun, progress through it, not like have to, figure out a whole new language or something to play it. I don't know, so.
Just some good quick fun.
Yeah, good quick fun.
Nice. All right. No, I'm gonna have to check out Axiom Verge now. Is it coming out for Windows? I know it was PlayStation originally.
I think PC and Windows.
Right,
and PlayStation. PC and PlayStation.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll pick it up. I'll probably pick it up on PC then.
Paging Hunter.
Yes,
paging
Hunter.
Hunter. Your flight is now departing. Step away from the bar.
Times this
That happened to me in the airport a couple times, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I won't get into it. I got kicked off a plane one time. That's a story for when we hang out at some point. When I come up to Canada,
All right, cool.
I'll bring my hockey stick.
Sweet.
We'll go to a Rush concert, and then we'll tailgate in the parking lot, and I'll tell you that story.
All right, deal.
I was completely innocent. Let's just put it that way, though.
Okay, that's good. Sure you were. Sure you were.
I was totally without fault. Totally without fault. And I got kicked off a plane. So
That sucks. That just sucks.
it did suck.
Did you at least get another flight pretty easily?
No, the next morning. I slept on the floor in the airport.
Oh, that's brutal.
There he is.
Oh, hey,
Oh
Hunter.
my God.
Nice of you to join us.
I have seen the future, and it is terrible.
So I take it your computer died.
No, my computer was fine. Google decided to take a shit on me, so like to the point where I couldn't even use my keyboard. I had to bring up the on-screen keyboard to save my audio file.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how much Google was really mad at me. So I
That's-
apologize, Google. All praise the gods of Google.
Yes.
So sorry.
That's all right.
Let's get back.
I'm sorry to hear that.
All right. I guess we'll just jump right back into it then.
Let's
Please.
do it.
All right. Are you recording again, Hunter?
Oh yeah, that's
Cool.
gonna be fun. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Welcome back. The song you just heard was a remix of Dr. Mario's Chill by DJ Redlight. You can find it over at OC Remix, and you'll find a link on our podcast page. But before we get into the crowning jewel of our podcast, let's look back at episode 118, where our winner was guest host Jonathan with, unfortunately, Pokemon Stadium, which beat out my Unreal Tournament and Hunter's Soul Calibur.
My more importantly, Soul Calibur.
Yes. So hats off for Jonathan for bringing a piece of crap and winning. I'm still bitter about that. I hope you're listening.
Just because it says Pokemon, that's why
Yes.
I won.
But now it's time for the Retro Showdown. There's no theme this week. It's a free-for-all. And I'm just going to jump right into it. My game this week was developed and released by a single Finnish programmer in the year of 1998. Featuring a total of 60 weapons, a deathmatch mode, a game of tag, and a game of capture the flag. It can be played against a computer or by two players simultaneously in split screen. That game is Liero. Some may just call it a real-time version of Worms, but I call it the best damn game you can play. That is a real-time version of Worms. It's Liero. Vermistas.
What is that? How do you even spell that?
Liero.
It's terrible. Can't even spell it. It's
All right.
terrible.
Hunter, are
Yes.
you ready?
Yep.
You may begin.
Awesome. Created from a pseudo terrible, not really that good of a movie. My pick for this week actually is a game that sits humbly in my heart as one of the most favorite games of mine, for the sheer fact that it is a collect-a-thon of sorts, and I love these games. It's Casper for the Sega Saturn.
30 seconds.
Playing as Casper, you run around the mansion that you used to own or do own. It's never really too clear. Avoiding your uncles while collecting puzzle pieces to unlock different bits of the
15
mansion.
seconds.
None of it really makes any sense, but you get to play as Casper, and you're collecting a lot of stuff, which is it's a winner in my book. It's Casper for the Sega Saturn.
Wow. All right.
Casper.
Daniel, are you ready?
I am ready. Listen up, folks. I don't know what Hunter's talking about. I ain't afraid of no ghosts, whether it be Casper or somebody else. And I think Jason's straight up Loco. I think that was the name he said of the game. Loco? Was that right? Because you are crazy for suggesting that. I've got a game to suggest to you in honor of issue number 7 of Retro Video Game Magazine, which is going to honor all things fighting game. I'm going to take you back to one of the first fighting type games that I played. It wasn't necessarily fighting, but it was pro wrestling on the original NES released in North America on 1987. If you want to qualify yourself as a gamer, you need to
30
play
seconds.
this game. It was the first one that featured an in-ring referee. It had a visible cameraman and yakking commentators. It allowed you to leave the ring, and it had the most amazing yet somewhat repetitive music that you'll ever find. It also came across guys like the Super Space Traveler, Starman, a living karate tool, King Corn, Karn, And my favorite, the half piranha, half man, the Amazon, before engaging with a
5 seconds.
nonstop drag-out fight with Giant Panther and defending your crown. The winner is you. Pro Wrestling NES. Do it. You love it and you know it.
Wow. You said, like, a winner is you. Like, that's a good thing to say. Like, people should be happy that you said it. That's not right. That's a terrible thing.
Well, gotta go play that game, people.
A winner is you.
A winner is
you. A winner is you. Yeah, that's true.
Irony.
Wow.
Such irony.
I bet you're regretting inviting me on the show at this point.
Not at all. Oh God.
Yeah.
How do I even rip apart wrestling?
We'll wait.
I'll give you this. It's better than Casper.
No, man, nothing. It's Casper. He is the definitive friendly ghost. There is no. Have you seen Scooby-Doo? There is not one ghost on there that's friendly. And Casper?
I don't think anyone brands themselves as a friend aside from Casper, though, so he's kind of cornered the market. He's got a little bit of a monopoly on that whole thing.
That's true.
Yeah, I couldn't name another ghost, really.
There's actually there's some good fan fiction theory that actually Richie Rich is the ghost that becomes Casper, and just like by the way that he's drawn and the things that he kind of comments on about, being a rich kid and that kind of thing. So, kind of tapping into two different stereotypical. Just nonsense. At the end of the day, that's what it comes to.
Nonsense.
It's all nonsense.
It's just all nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a crappy remake of Worms. I mean, that could be.
Right.
There's nothing. Okay,
Liera.
Loco.
Yeah, Loco.
That game will give you worms, from what I understand.
Yes. It's actually been deemed by the FCC here in America as being the what's a terrible disease?
Ebola.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
that's the hot one right now.
It's
as far as diseases go,
hepatitis C maybe that could be.
Okay.
As being a fan of Worms,
yes,
and all of the other creations and clones that come up, what does Loco Liero bring to the table?
All right, one, it's real time.
So was Worms.
No, Worms is not real time. So Worm was turn-based.
Well, it depends on the version of Worms that you're playing, but continue.
All right, so it's a real-time version of Worms. So every version of Worms is turn-based.
Sure.
Yeah, it is. So it's real-time. Split screen, great. It's incredibly fast-paced.
So,
all right. It's getting better.
Oh, it's got 40 weapons.
That's
Not
flamethrowers, bombs, lasers. There's a ton of mods that you can replace any of the weapons, including the sound effects.
Of course there is.
Okay.
So, all right. Being the guy that I am, if you're playing split screen on a PC, what could possibly be the controls for this game? That's what I want to hear. I want to hear the controls.
WASD.
Of course, you got your WADs. That's good.
Yeah,
No OMP involved.
Moving around. But second player, they get the numpad. So if you look at your numpad, 8 is up, 4 is left, 6 is right, 5 is down, just like WASD.
So if your keyboard doesn't have a number pad, then you're kind of...
Yeah, then you can't play.
Then
you're playing just by yourself.
Because I couldn't imagine playing this game like on the row number keys at the top.
No, that'd be terrible.
That would be...
Probably couldn't play this on a small laptop.
Right.
For 2 players. But if you got a full-size honking IBM keyboard, as was the thing in the day, you and your best friend can shoot each other with your totally not a Worms ripoff.
Totally not. Loco Liero.
You guys are into the ripoffs, the Frogger ripoffs, the Worm ripoffs. I mean,
that's what we do.
That's what you do.
That's what we do. Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah. So all right. So crappy Worms ripoff, which
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, Worms is just a crappy game to begin with. So it's kind of a
Oh, you're killing me here.
crappy ripoff of a crappy game.
Uh-huh.
Um, or you've got
Casper.
pro wrestling.
Yes. Which I just think is like historic. Now this game has been ranked by, it's been ranked for a variety of reasons as being one of the best NES games of all time. It's also been ranked as having the toughest final boss. I mean, it's up there because you're not taking down Great Puma without being great. That's the bottom line. Because once you defeat King Slender and Giant Panther, you've got to defend your crown through 10 rounds and then get to Great Puma. So it offers up a challenge that a lot of modern games don't. I'm not a huge wrestling fan. I mean, I was back when I was a kid, and in the Hulk Hogan days and WWF and all that stuff, which made this game exciting to me. But I think fundamentally, this is a game that you should experience as a gamer to understand how games have evolved. Masato Masuda was the designer of this game, who went on to do Fire Pro Wrestling, and which was a huge franchise and influence other genres. And I think certain little things in pro wrestling gave a nod to things that we would see to come, both in its presentation and its gameplay. Definitely something that would be worthwhile for people to engage with, and a notch on your belt if you consider yourself a classic/hardcore gamer.
Wow. Throwing out the hardcore gamer term.
Damn it.
That's,
Here's my question for you. You mentioned in your introduction, it's the first game to feature cameraman in a wrestling game.
That's right.
Great. The cameraman doesn't actually do anything. He doesn't interact with the wrestlers.
right, yeah. So it's just like
So back in the day when you had so little processing power, why would you want to go, you know what? We'll stick this guy down here.
you could probably
That's what makes this game special, is because it gave attention to detail. That set the stage to say, we are going to have a presentation-like atmosphere. The yakety-yak little commentators at the top of the screen contribute to that as well. You, prior to this game, you were kind of focused on just the action and the singular kind of activity of engaging in the action. But this created an atmosphere. This created something that allowed you to feel like you were part of something beyond just the motion of the controls, and that was why it was special.
So you're saying that they put more emphasis on things that don't matter to the game rather than the actual gameplay. Is that
Well, I am. Yes, it's part of the package. It's
Good,
part of the
yeah.
presentation package.
because that's what I need in a game is atmosphere. I need to be delved
You
into
absolutely do.
things that have no consequence over what I do in the game whatsoever.
Well, this is right. Our medium is interactive entertainment as opposed to entertainment. So instead of being just completely, passive, it is something that you are able to engage in, and that's the difference between going to a movie or going to a sporting event and actually having an interactive thing. But the more that you can make the interactive thing feel like the real thing, that's where presentation comes into play. So you can have great game ideas all day long, but if you don't make them feel like or produce the feeling that they're supposed to have. When you played pro wrestling back in 1987, you felt like a damn wrestler, even if you were half piranha and half man.
I mean, I don't know. Like just that.
Hunter, you're just angry because pro
You are a
wrestling.
winner. That's why I'm angry.
Yeah.
Because you are a
pro,
winner.
Pro wrestling was developed by one guy. Liero was developed by one guy. But
Yeah.
yet it took
Many.
4 studios
Yes.
to develop Casper.
Which is it's a nationwide, worldwide franchise. Yes,
Yes.
you need the best of the best
Yes.
to create a 3D top-down collectathon, amazing puzzle game that is Casper.
Collectathon.
God, I love collecting stuff in video games. I don't know why.
I know you do. It's a problem.
Like Donkey Kong 64 is known to have the most items within a particular game that you have to collect. Something in the neighborhood of it's like 500 different items you have to collect in the game. I think it was, or something like that.
It's hardcore.
It's amazing. Only true gamers. Yeah. Who doesn't need that many bananas? Let's be honest. I mean, anybody who tries to eat
I had to.
Anybody who
just
tries to
bad.
eat 2 bananas in a row, it's just not going to happen. But if you're Donkey Kong 64, you're gonna consume about 500 of them,
Damn.
Yeah.
and you're gonna love
Definitely
every
have
bit of
full
it.
of potassium.
Yeah, bones,
Bones.
calcium,
Calcium. Not
That's
potassium.
calcium.
not getting Charlie horses. That's what I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There
So
you
we're
go.
all back on the same page then.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
we're good.
All right.
Now we're good. So Casper sucks. We all agree.
Oh no, it's so good. It's so good. I mean, you got the movie, kind of set the stage for what's to come, and then you've got the video game that you can actually interact in and become part of the atmosphere that Casper's created. Like it's like a total
Wait,
conundrum that you walk into.
weren't you just railing against atmosphere in the wrestling game?
Yeah.
But the atmosphere isn't created by some guy sitting in his basement saying you are winner
Just
with a half man, half wizard. We have a multi-million-dollar movie studio that's taken a dead franchise that's been dead for years, a terrible cartoon,
He's passionate about this.
he is.
and some crazy comic, and you take the CGI and the special effects that were available at the time to your advantage. You take a rising star, also known as Christina Ricci, who happens to be one of my loves, and then you create this game or this movie for children, yet keeping it a stand up for the adults who actually grew up with this this character and then with this franchise, and then you hit them where it hurts, right in the feels, with a Sega Saturn game. That's how you market, my friends.
Wow. You are truly passionate. If
There was
that's the
one
word for it.
downfall of the Sega Saturn. If you didn't have that data backup, the slap in the back of that console, man, there was no way you were saving your game. And this is a very long game. There are very many things to collect. Like if you didn't have that technology in your back pocket, like it's kind of a waste. But
Wow.
One little caveat. Not necessary with pro wrestling.
No.
no,
Not
it's true.
Wrestling Arrow either.
All you need to have is your A game.
Ooh.
That's it.
Get that, Jason? Your A game?
A game? I got it.
Yeah.
A?
A game?
Canadian, eh?
A
Hoser?
hoser.
You know,
I don't know.
everyone knows what a hoser is, right?
So that's the equivalent to like bastard or something, isn't it?
Well, it's the dude who stays after pond hockey and hoses down the ice.
Oh,
Because he's the loser. Loser stays and
Yeah.
hoses down the ice.
Hosing
is
down
that a
the
bad
ice.
thing? That sounds like a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
It's
Am I
from the
right, Jason?
pre-Zamboni days.
It
When
is.
the losing team would
Well, no,
have to hose down the ice.
Yeah.
You're a hoser. You're a loser. An idiot.
You're a loser. You just lost. So you're a hoser.
Yeah.
So,
So it's got nothing to do with pontoon or
No.
anything. Okay.
Just go watch some Bob and Doug. It'll be good.
Bob and Doug, because those names don't
Bob and Doug McKenzie?
go together.
SCT? Never mind. I'm
Yeah,
gonna send you some YouTube videos.
SCT. No, I'm
SCTV?
aware.
No?
Yeah, I'm aware of SCT. We had this conversation about what's the guy who's a Mountie and he's got a blind dog and he solves mysteries. Canadian live action Due South. That's the name of the show.
All right.
Yeah, we talked about that. Don't
Yeah,
act
exactly.
like you have any
Whatever.
idea what I'm talking about.
Whatever. You know what? Let's just final arguments. Why should people vote for Casper, the waste of a game ghost?
Well, that's not Casper for the Sega Saturn is is exactly what everybody's looking for. You've got the family element there. You've got the isometric top-down 3D-esque game that people are looking for.
right.
And you've got the most important part, which is the collecting. That is the most important part. Collecting.
For collectors.
Yeah.
Ah, so much glorious collecting. So good.
Sweet. All right.
Okay.
All right. We'll take that. And Daniel, why should people vote for we're going to waste resources on a cameraman pro wrestling?
Well, because if you're a fan of video game history and you're a fan of the evolution of interactive entertainment, this is a historic game in terms of its relevance and context towards creating the modern classics such as Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. So if you are interested in a game that offered presentation actually focused on gameplay and had something that was challenging to this day and remains relevant, it is certainly something that would serve you well to have beaten or to participated in, because it will extend your knowledge of both the evolution of interactive entertainment, and it will increase your street cred with people who know what this game is all about.
Damn.
Well, that whole thing was just a bucket of shit. Like
All right, you should vote for Lietro or Liero or Looney.
What is it? Luco?
Luco?
Logo.
You should vote for Loco. Liero. Because it is totally not a Worms ripoff, but it is slightly a Worms ripoff, so it's fantastic.
And it's totally a Worms
It's totally a Worms ripoff. But anyway, that's it for episode 121. Eric Bailey will be back next week, thank God. Oh, thank God. That's the podcast. Special thank you for Daniel for showing up. Love to
Thanks
have you
for having me.
That was great. We love to hear about the magazine. Everyone should go to readretro.com. Subscribe. Go to your local mom and pop shop. What was the chain it was carried in?
Barnes & Noble.
Go to Barnes & Noble. Pick it up. If you have any questions you'd like to ask us for our normal question segment, you can email them to us at podcast@onemorecastle.com. Daniel, is there any last-minute plugs you'd like to do?
Well, if you're interested in being disappointed on Twitter, you could follow me at Daniel Kaiser, Kayser. If you want to see what's going on with Retro, you could follow them at readretro.com, us and them. I am part of Retro now. And then, again, readretro.com is the website, and we look forward to, seeing how things evolve over the months, and hopefully if you're interested in getting a magazine, you'll consider subscribing. So thanks so much for your time, and thanks for having me on the show, guys.
Oh, it's great to have you on. Hunter,
Yes.
any last-minute plugs, any recommendations for good Chinese food in your area?
Sure, you can follow me on Twitter at Eric Hunter. For all things me, be sure to check out ericmhunter.net. That's where all my musings are. We got a pretty good local Chinese spot. First China, I think it's called.
All right. If you're in
I don't know, we
Cincinnati,
got it like a couple of days ago. Yeah.
check
so
out First
Their
China.
logan should be second to none.
Yes. Yes. They definitely start chewing on people's heads rather than just doing a simple, headlock. Just
Yes.
wrestler brains. It's a special. This is terrible advertising for them. So.
Yeah, terrible. Terrible.
No, what-
We're going to get sued.
They'll never know.
libel.
They'll never know.
Anyway,
Don't know.
you can follow me on Twitter at Jason Lamb. Thanks again for listening to the podcast. We'll see you next week. And remember, you are a bad enough dude to rescue the president. Good night. Or stick around for the after podcast segment where we just wrap up.
That's
All
pretty
right.
much all we do.
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Sweet. No, that was awesome. Thanks for being on, man.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording now.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna save. Just
an hour and 13 minutes. I'll go
Yeah,
ahead and
sorry
save
about
it. And do you want to just send me a link to a Dropbox that you want this on, or do you want me to upload it to my Dropbox and send you a link to that to download
Yeah,
it?
just upload
How
it to
would you-
yours and just shoot me an email.
Okay, I'll take care of it. And yeah, let's hold on a second, real fast. Let me just make sure I get this. What file format do you want it in? Do you prefer WAV, AIFF, or
MP3's fine.
MP3? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see, one more. Okay. I'm just making sure I save this. All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much for having me on. And if you need anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'll send this your way, and we'll follow up from there.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Fantastic, man. Thank you again.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, you
Take
too.
care.
Have a good night.
All right. Peace.
Yeah, I had to bring up my on-screen keyboard to save my file before restarting my computer.
That's terrible.
I was super excited about it. I couldn't wait. Oh my gosh, so much fun. So,
All right, cool. Cool. All right.
yeah, I
Sweet.
guess that's
Yeah.
it.
Thanks for all the listeners. I didn't mention that before because
Yeah.
I'm not as organized as Bailey.
No.
No, it's all gone
Well,
downhill.
I mean, realistically, you've got what 6, 7 episodes under your belt.
Yep.
Bailey has 113.
That's true.
So, I mean, it's more or less just.
And he's a better person. So.
You just mean like in general, like just as a human being?
Just as a human being.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Probably.
Hey, if it helps, I got 0.
Sweet.
So.
We're gonna let you host next time.
No, I'm all right. I got a lot of things going on.
All right, cool.
What is this? Google Drive? You have run out of storage?
Uh-oh.
What's that mean?
This means I need to go get some Chinese.
I do. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, I'll see you later.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.